Torah portion. We continue in the last Torah portion, Vayigash, with the blessings that Yaakov is giving to his sons. We are in the book of Bereshit, Genesis, chapter 49, verse 19. You can get it on your phone.
Will March 4th?
Huh? Troops will march forth. You got it.
Not 5th.
Huh?
4th, not 5th.
Well, March 4th. You're not 5th. Okay, God Gedud Yigudenu V'hu Yagud Akev. And God Gedud Yigudenu, well, troops will march. V'hu Yagud, and he will Yagud Akev. He will return on his heels. Same tracks on his heels. Okay, let's see Rashi in 19. God Gedud Yigudenu, and the troop will troop forth from God. Kulam Lashon Gedud Haim. All of these words are here from the same root word, God, right? And you have it here 4 times in the one verse. 3 right in a row. God Gedud Yigudenu, right? The root of each word there is God, right? The Kachibur Menachem, so Menachem classified it. The Im Taimar, and if you will object and say, Ein Gedud Shel Shnei Dalstin, that their Gedud is that there's no form of the word Gedud, troops, with 2 dalids. Ishleimar, you can respond to the Gedud Shem Davar, that Gedud is a noun. Tzarech Shnei Dalstin, so therefore it needs 2 dalids. Right? Shekain, Derech Tevel Shel Shtei Oisius, so is the way of a word that 2 letters of a root. Lichbol b'seifai, to repeat at the end at times. Ve'en yisei shel shtei oisius, although its root, it has only 2 letters. So in other words, the root is God, and thank you. Right, the root is God, but when you use it as a noun, so therefore it has 2 dalids. Ve'en yisei shel shtei oisius. Ve'en amar Kitzipor, la good, la nud rather. La nud, Megizvets Savaita Nedudim. So he's just showing another word to the word nud means to roam, and then when it's used as a noun, so you put 2 dalids. Hashem Shadud, and also the word Shadud, which means to despoil. It's a lot of grammar over here. I'm trying to see about here beyond the grammar. So at the end, we'll cross over the Jordan, Ima Chehim, with their brothers, L'Milchama, Chol Cholutz, every Arman. So Rashi's saying it's a reference over here, because remember, God is staying Transjordan because of the large flock that they have, but they will go as a troop to fight, and then they will go back to Transjordan. So that's the reference over here. Huva Yagud Akev, next Rashi. And he will troop back on his tracks, called Geduda of all of his troops, Yeshuva Halakvam, they'll return on their tracks, the Nachalosam for their possession, Shalachal Be'ever Yarden, that they took on the other side of the Jordan, not in the land of Israel proper, right? Transjordan. And not a man among them will be counted missing. They will fight with Joshua, but none of them will be missing. They will, each one that tracked over the Jordan will retrack and go back over the Jordan. Okay, tracks, thank you. On the way along the route on which they went, Yashuva, they will return. The tracks that are not discernible, it's just showing other terms that it means that. Traces. Okay, first, so that's God. 20. Me Asher, and from Asher, Shmeina Lachmai. His foods will be shmeina, will be fat, rich. V'hu yitain, shamein means fat and means rich, right? Fat is a sign of richness. V'hu yitain ma'adane melech, and he will provide the king's delicacies. Rashi in 20. Asher shmeina lachmai, Asher, his bread is rich. Michael, food, haba mechelka shel Asher, the food that comes from the portion of Asher, yeshamin, will be rich. Shiyu zeisim merubim, because they will have many olives, bechelka, in their portion. V'hu moishech shemen, he will draw forth oil, kimayin, like a spring. Moshe similarly blessed Asher with the same blessing. V'tevel b'shem meragla, as he says, dip his feet in oil. Oil, not crude oil, olive oil. Yeah, one of the things that we don't have much of is crude oil. You know who gets crude oil? Those that are crude. That was a paid political announcement. Are we following? Yes? We good? Yeah? Okay. You're following? You mean you got that joke? I only saw 2 people laugh. And online, only 1. Yeah, I don't know if they're following. Okay. Either that or they don't like the crude joke.
With a crude joke.
All right.
Rashi 20?
Boom. Yes. So Moshe also, but Moshe Sheni Menachos, as we learn Menachos, Pam Achas Utzchol Anshe Leduk Lashem. Once it was the people of Laodicea needed oil. Whoa. And they appointed a non-Jewish emissary, and they said to him, "Go bring us 1,000,000 manna, approximately 140,000 gallons of olive oil." So he went to Jerusalem. They told him, "Go to Tyre." He went to Tyre. They told him, "Go to Gush Chalav, in a portion of Asher." And then they said, "Go so and so's field," and they found there digging ditches around the olive trees. And he needed 1,000,000 manna of oil, 140,000 gallons of oil. Right.
Rashi?
No, yeah, I'm giving you from the. In any case, they had a lot of oil over there, obviously. Okay. Next, 21. Naphtali, right? Ayala shlucha. He's like a deer. Ayala is a deer. Shlucha means like it's sent, meaning it's loose. Hanaisin imre shefer, one who offers, he gives. Hanaisin, he's offering imre, words of shefer, of praise. Rashi 21. Ayala shlucha, a deer that's set loose. Zul, because Ginoisar, this is reference to the valley of Ginoisar in the portion of the tribe of Naphtali, Shu Kala Levashel Pereseha, which is quick to ripen its fruits. Ka'ayala, like a deer. Shehi Kala Larutz, it runs quickly. Ayala Shlucha, Ayala Mishulachas, Larutz, that it set off to run. In other words, it has fruit there that ripens very quickly. Fertile, right? It is because it's the northwest shore of the Sea of the Galilee, of the Galilee Sea. So it's a northwest, right, on top, that therefore it's got fertile land. Hanais and Imre Shefer, who delivers beautiful sayings. Kitargumai, this should be understood as Onkelos says. And others, that they give thanks for the blessing that they have. Dover Acher, another explanation of what it means that giving praise with his words for the plenty. Milchemes Sisra Nisnaba. Yaakov here is prophesying because of the war of Sisra, of which it says, he took from there 10,000 men from the sons of Naphtali, and they went there with swiftness, and they went swift to go fight the battle. Sham Loshin Shiluach, and likewise it says there that he sent off there the Emek Shlucha Biraglov, that he sent off in the valley on his feet. This is in the book of Judges, right? So there's a prophecy for the future. Anais and Imre Shefer, who delivers beautiful sayings, another Al Yadam, because of them, the men of the tribe of Naphtali, mentioned in the previous comment. Shirabu Devorah Shirad, Devorah and Barak sang a song of praise of God. So there's another explanation of what it means for Darshu Rabbeinu. And our sages, they interpreted differently this verse. Al Yaim Kfuras Yaakov. It's about the day that Yaakov was buried. She'irer Esav al Hamayra. Esav, right, the brother of Yaakov, laid claim to the cave of the Machpelah b'Masechta Soita, as explained there in the Tractate of Soita. Right, so Naphtali sped back to Egypt to get the deed that supported the claim that Yaakov's family had to the cave, and therefore that's why he's compared to an ayil as a deer that goes swiftly, right? B'targumai, and the Targum Onkelos Yisrame Advei. He says the words means v'ipol cheblai, that his lot will fall, v'hu yoyde is chelkai, and he will give thanks for his portion. Amarim noyim v'shevach, a beautiful saying and praise. So we have a few different explanations over here, which itself needs an explanation. Why does Rashi give so many explanations for those words, meaning that each one has something that the other doesn't. Verse 22. Now we go to Yosef. Ben Peiras, Yosef. The son of Peiras, meaning charming, is Yosef. Ben Peiras, charming, Aleyayin, is to the eye. Benais Tzada, Ale Shur. The girls, Benais, daughters, literally, right? But the Egyptians' daughters, they would walk, Tzada, they would walk Ale Shur to gaze at his beauty. Okay. Rashi, remember he was the viceroy of Egypt. So he was out there. Ben Peiras, and Ben Chen, a son of grace. V'hu Lashon Arami, this is an Aramaic term. Pedron Namtein LaRabbi Shimon. Let us extend our grace, Rav Shimon, as in the Talmud. Ben Peiras Aleyayin, a son of grace to the eye. Chinu Notui, his grace is spread out al ayin araya, I say, over any eye that sees him. Banai Sade Ale Shur. So girls they would step up on a high place so they could see, and gaze. Sure. Rashi says, B'nais Mitzrayim, the daughters of Egypt, Tayud Sayadis Al they would step along the wall, to gaze at the beauty of Yosef. Banais Harbe, many daughters. So they called Achas V'Achas, everyone who stepped the Mokum to the place, Shetucha Liroisai, Misham, in order that they could see him from there. I don't know, Rashi adds that exactly. Davar Acher, alternative explanation of what it means, these words. Ale Shur, means al riyosai, overseeing him. Kama yashurenu v'loi karev, like we will have later on. I shall look at him, but not near. Midrash, that's a second explanation. Now, Midrash Agoda Yesh Rabim, and there are many midrashic explanations of what these words mean. But these interpretations are more the simple meaning. Pairas, to grace. Tav shiboy, the taf in this word. Hu tikun alashin is an enhancement of the word. Kamay al dibras b'nei adam. Divra Satav, all the matter of people. Okay, sure. Come on, lo sure. So with the prefix means of the lamed, al sure means bishvil lashur, in order to gaze. So the word sure means to gaze. So it's like lo sure, to gaze. Tirgum shel onkeles banizadu ale sure. And onkeles explains it. Sure that Train, Shiftain, Yifkaim, Ibnai, 2 tribes shall come forth from his sons. So Onkelos has a different explanation. He explains it, see, Banai, since it says daughters in the plural, Hashem Banai Menashe, it's speaking about the daughters of Menashe, Banai Slavchad, the daughters of Menashe, their descendants were Slavchad, Shenat Luchelek, because they took a portion, Bishnei Avery Ayarden, on both sides of the Jordan. Because Menashe, half of Menashe took, just like God took on the Transjordan, half of Menashe also took on Transjordan, right? So the daughters of Tzlofchad later on by Moshe, right, their father didn't have any sons. So when in Parshas Pinchas, when divided the land, they weren't going to get any land. So they made a complaint to Moshe, and Moshe, God told Moshe, they spoke correctly, that they should get a portion of land since there's no brothers to get a portion, so the daughters should get a portion, but they're taking 2 portions because they were on Transjordan, and so that's what it means, daughters over here, right? Daughters of Menashe. Slavchad are the daughters, great granddaughters of Menashe, right, from the tribe of Menashe, and they're getting a double portion. So Onkelos learns it completely different than Rashi is learning it. Okay. Bari Yisi Yosef, the popular son of Yosef, Peiras, Lashon, Rivia. So the word Peiras, we said, according to Rashi, was what? Grace, right? That Yosef had grace. But the Onkelos says, Peiras comes to the word that prove revu, to be fruitful and multiply. Yesh Midrash Agada, and Agadic Midrash, Shemis Yashrim al Loshen, that fit with the words. One of them is Bishah Shabal Esav Likras Yaakov, that when Esav came towards Yaakov, Bikulam, in the case of all the members of Yaakov's family, Kodmu Aimois, the mothers went first, Alechas Lifnei B'neim, to go before their sons, Lishtachavis, in order to bow to Esav, Barachel, it says, Nigash Esav Barachel Vishtachu, that Yosef went before his mother, and therefore he bowed down, which applies to Yosef preceded Rachel. Yosef said, Rasha said, this evil one Esau, Eno Rama, he's arrogant and he feels to deserve whatever you want. Shemi Tenena Beimi, maybe he's going to might set eyes on my mother, Rachel. So therefore Yosef went out before. And he stretched his height in order to cover his mother. And this is why now his father blessed him. Ben Peiras, which should be understood as a growing son. Yalta atzmacha Yosef, you enlarge yourself, Yosef, ale ayin shaletzef, over the eye of Esav, because of sachisa ligdula. That's why you are worthy of greatness. But I started Allah sure, and the girl stepped up to gaze, istackled, to look at you. It says whenever you would go out to rule over Egypt. So that's a different explanation that we gave from before, right? That he was like from fruitful multiply, meaning to enlarge in himself. He enlarged himself to cover over his mother, so Esav shouldn't be able to look at her and desire her. And because of that, that's why he merited greatness, and that greatness was that the daughters of Egypt would want to look and gaze upon him. Right? Odar Shuhu, they also further expound. Yeah. Union shall Yishlei Bizaraj Ayin Hara, referring to the fact that the evil eye will not affect his offspring. Av Sheberach Menashe Ephraim, even Jacob did bless Ephraim and Menashe Bircham Kidogim, like they should be like fish. Ein Ayin Hara Shalatis Bam, that the evil eye should not have an effect on them. By the way, Sephardic people, what do they say about Ayin Hara? They don't say, what do they say? Bimporat Yosef, Bimporat Yosef. These words. Based on what we just said over here, right? If you want to say that there shouldn't be the evil eye on somebody, right? You know that, right? Amram, Ben Porat Yosef. That's what they say. Yeah. Go ahead.
Learned that recently?
You were right.
Like
That actually happened to someone that we all know.
Okay. Anyway, let's not get off on.
You were right.
God forbid. 23. Yamru v'raibu, and Yosef's brothers, Yamruhu, they embittered him. V'rabu, and Rabu, and they became his assailant. V'yistemuhu, and they hated him. Balechitzim, with arrows. Okay, let's see Rashi what that means. Huh?
Arrow sharp tongues.
Yeah, I gave you the literal translation. You're getting there what's not bold, which I have also, right? But that's not the translation of the words of the verse. So Rashi is going to explain that's what it means. But in order that you can learn the language and the actual words, I'm giving you only the translation of the words themselves. Okay, which we're going to get that in Rashi in any case. Okay. '23. The Yamru Verabu, they embittered him and were antagonistic. The Yamruhu Echav, his brothers. The verse doesn't say who did it, right? So Rashi says his brothers were bitter, made him bitter. You know what? I really don't get this. Because we learned differently that he wasn't embittered, right? So I don't know what this means exactly. Let's see further. And Paitifar and his wife made him bitter. By imprisoning him. And they embittered their lives. But it's interesting because we don't see this anywhere in the story of Yosef that he was embittered. On the opposite, he's telling him that God did everything, and it was all for good. So interesting. Varabu Naseloi Echav Anshe Riv. His brother became antagonists. Ve'in Loshen Hazeh Loshen Palu. And this is not that they acted. In other words, it's not an active verb. She'im Kain, because if so, Ravu should be vowelized as Ravu. They fought. But it doesn't. Kamei Hema. Here's some more grammar. Maybe Riva al Ravu. After the Rivas Chitzi, and again, Naked, after Yoloi, Samu Mayim, Shulashin Hushamu, Achen Remaat, Shulashin.
Around this one.
Okay, we're just going to go because the grammar, and we have a lot to do. Balei chitzim. Balei chitzim, masters of arrows. Shilashonam kechetz. Their tongues were like arrows. The Targumoi, Mari Plagutosai. Balei chitzim, parties of division. So Unkla says a bit different, that it was, they were divisive. Lashon tiyem mechsa, related to the words mechsa, means half. Oisa shahayu ruyim, those who were intended lachla kimay nachla, who were divide the heritage with his brothers. Okay. 24. Patashe beisan kashte. So Vitashe, when it was returned beisan with strength, kashte, his bow. The Yafazu, Zereya Yadav, and his arms were Yafazu, were like covered. Zereya Yadav, his arms were covered. Midei Avir Yaakov, Misham Raya Evan Israel. So Midei Avir, so by the agency of Hashem, the Avir Yaakov, the strength of Yaakov, Misham Raya, from there he was providing Evan Israel for the foundation, for the Evan, the rock of Israel, foundation. Okay, let's see Rashi. Vatashe be'esan kashte, Yashu bechizik kashte hosga. He established his arrow, meaning his power, right? Yafaizu. Zreya Yadav, and his arms were covered. Zuhi, there's a reference in the Nesinas Tabas of putting a ring al Yadai on Yosef's hand, Lashin Zav Mufaz, gleaming gold. Zeis Haisaloi, this came about to him, Midei HaKadosh Baruch from the hands of God. Shu Avir Yaakov, which means the mighty power of Yaakov, meaning God, referring to God. Misham Allah, and from there he rose, Liyas and Israel, that to become a shepherd for the stone of Israel. Ikran Shel Israel, the essence of Israel, Lashon Evan HaRoisha, Evan, the headstone, Lashon Malchus, which means royalty. In other words, he got the ring. He got on his arm a ring, which is Pharaoh's ring, which made him the second in command, the viceroy over, right? And that came not from Pharaoh, but from the might of God, the God of Jacob, that came to him. That's what the verse is saying. In order that Yosef should become the stone, meaning the foundation for Israel, for the Jewish people. And Onkelos also explains it this way. The prophecy came back to his brothers that the dream that they dreamt. Targum Onkelos, next phrase, al dake oraisa, because he kept the Torah secretly. Tosef is who? In addition, v'loy meloshin ivri shebemikra, v'shavet v'tokv. So he's saying that Yosef put his reliance on the mighty one God, and the prophecy came back to him, the power of God, that it was to him as a bow and a source of security. That Yosef put his trust in God, and therefore when the dreams came true because the brothers came before him and they bowed down, so he realized that came from God. Evan Israel, stone of Israel. Onkelos is Lashon Noitrikain. It's an abbreviated form, Av Uben. You see the word Evan? It spells Av, and the first two letters, and then the last two letters is Ben. So Avu and that's what he says, father and son, Yaakov Abana. Who is the stone of Israel, the rock of, is Jacob and his sons. That's according to Onkelos. Rashi said before it was referring to Yosef. Onkelos says it's Jacob and his sons, right? And the sages in the Talmud, they explain it, but his bow was firmly in place. Regarding Yosef suppressing his urge, when the incident of the master's wife, Karo Keshes, it's called a bow. Al Shem Sha'azera Yere Keches, as semen shoots like an arrow. And they interpret the word v'yafaizu, meaning his arms were gilded, kama yafozu, that they were dispersed. V'yotza azera, miben it's boisav yadav. In other words, the urge that he had, he controlled himself. He controlled himself by girding himself. Midei Avir Yaakov, in the hands of the mighty power of Yaakov. Wow, because he saw the visage of his father that appeared to him, and that's what it means. The power of Yaakov it means literally the power of Yaakov. Before we learned it was the power of God, the God of Yaakov. Here it means literally the power of Yaakov because he saw the visage, the face of Yaakov, and that's what gave him strength when Potiphar's wife tried to seduce him. So that's a third explanation, completely different. Okay? 25. Yeah, okay. So, from God, Mikael Avicha, the God of your father, Yazreka, and he will continue to help, will help you. And the God, the Almighty, he will bless you with blessings of the heaven and blessings of the depths below that are rovetzes, is like lying deep below. All of the here he explains insemination in the womb. Okay, let's see Rashi. Need help on this one. We need help on all of them. Okay, let's go quickly because we got two more. This going to finish up. Okay, Kelabicha, from the God of your father, did this come to you? And he will help you. And the Almighty, this means, and your heart was with the Almighty. When you did not listen to your master's wife, and he will bless you. The continuation like from before, right? It's a blessing of casting and womb. A blessing of father and mother. That's to say, that may those who father and those who give birth be blessed. That the male should inseminate a drop that's fit for conception. And that the female should not lose the fetus, right? To have them miscarry their fetus. Shadaim castings. Yara yira mitagamim that he shall cast down, and the other shall be propelled. Shadaim kan here too. So Hashem shazera yira kelchetz, the semen shoots like an arrow. Not exactly clear how that comes there. Last verse. Birchas avicha. the blessing of your father. Gavru al birchas hora, will surpass the blessings of your forebearers. Ad tavas givas olam, until the utmost, to the hills forever. Tiena l'reish Yosef, there will be to the head of Yosef, l'kadkoid nazir echav, and to the head, kadkoid is also head, skull, nazir echav, of those who separated from his brothers. This is all very okay. 26. Birchas avicha gavru, the blessing of your father became mighty. Abracha shevirchani HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the blessing that God blessed me, gavru b'halchu, became mighty. Al brachas, beyond the blessings, the blessings of my parents. Avram got the blessing from God, did he? Right? Yitzchak got the blessing from God, but Yaakov got it even more so. That's what he's saying, right? Al tabas givas elam, to the bounds of the world's hills. The fish abrachas shali, because the blessings Gavra became mighty at seif gavule gavusaylam, until the end of the boundaries of the hills of the world. Shenasan li bracha perutza, for God, for He gave me an open-ended blessing, bli mitzan, without limits. Megivas ad arba k'zois ha'olam, from the four extremities of the world. Shenamar, as it says, v'ratza yama v'kedma v'tzafayna, you will spread out powerfully from the west to the east, and so on. Mashal yamar, which he did not say l'Avram Avinu, to Abraham our forefather, or Yitzchak my father. L'Avram Amar, to Avram he said, raise your eyes and look from where you are northward. It's called Aretz, and the entire land. That you see, I will give it to you. Was Eretz Israel, and he showed him only the land of Israel. The Yitzchak Amar, right? He didn't show him all directions, the entire world. And to Yitzchak, what did he say? His father. That to you and your offspring I will give all of these lands. And I will establish the oath that I made with your father Abraham. And this is what Isaiah said, that I shall feed you the portion of Yaakov, your father, and he didn't say Nachlas Avram, the portion of Abraham. Why? Because he got south, north, south, east, and west, all directions. My parents, the word, it means conception. Shahiruni, for they brought about my conception, and then my mother's womb. Like a man who brought about conception. Al Tavais, on the bounds. Ad Kitsois, to the ends. In other words, Kedma, as a desired. The border shall be for yourself in the eastern border. He's just giving proof of that. Tabais. Bounds, in Old French, asomil. Kach Hebrew Menachem ben Sarek. Onkelos, you go to the Tabas give us Onkelos explains the words Lashon Taiba bechemda, meaning a desire and a longing. Give us Lashon Metzuke Eretz. So he explains that it means the pillars of the earth, Shechem Dasam Imai. It refers to Jacob's mother longing for the blessing that he would finally get. Right? Rivka sent away Yaakov because he stole the blessings from Esav, and she was longing for those blessings to come to fruition. That's how Onkelos explains it. Tiena, let it be. Kulam, all of them, Yosef, on the head of Yosef, and I'll let them all come true in the head of Yosef. Nazir Echav, withdrawn one of his brothers. This should be understood according to Onkelos. Pirsha da'achayi, isolated one of his brothers. Shenim Echav, that he was separated from his brothers. Kamai v'Yisrael to God. In other words, he was separated from them, and we finished. Okay. Phew. Okay, folks. Baruch Hashem, that we got that finished. And now we're going to go into